Hi everyone, this is Shubhendu and I'm going to say something regarding extended self. This is a very new concept. This is an old concept actually, but the application of this has recently started. Now let's understand what exactly is an extended self and how does this play a role in making our core selves work. A researcher named Belk, he started doing research on extended self about 30 years ago. Now, the research was focused on considering ourself as the core self, which is like the core self, and then all our activities and behaviors in multiple different situations which fell into individual groups, I mean, discrete groups. Those are called as different cells. Now, let me give you an example. Now, when you're working in the office, the way you handle your people, the way you handle your teams, the way you handle your work can be totally different from the way you behave when you are within family. The same thing can also be when you're actually online or you're within a group of friends. So, I mean, you must have heard about the feeling, the theory which says don't bring home work and things like that, right? Work life balance and things like that. Why do we, have you ever wondered, why do we have to think of things like that? What we are trying to do is, we are trying to say that you shouldn't mix both the selves together. So, how the way I would put it is that everyone has not just one, but multiple extended selves. Now, how do you know that you have an extended self, right? Is that, if that is what you're saying? I mean, if I'm sure you would have already got an example from the office and home examples, but then the other thing which I would like to say is that how many of you have or keep mementos? Mementos or mementos, which when you visit a particular place, you take photographs, you print it out, and you keep it in your albums, or you buy something like a refrigerator magnet, so which keeps, you just stick it on the refrigerator or some place where you can see it, and when you go to a beach, you get conch and things like that. So basically, you keep collecting things. Now, why do you collect things? Because you want to treasure your memories. Now, if you want to treasure your memories, what is the one thing which you would need? And why do you need to treasure your memories? It's because the point when you were there, you felt different. That was because you did a set of activities which were different. That was because it was not your own self, it was the extended self. You looking at the memories and trying, you are just trying to recreate or relive your extended self. But like our core self changes over time, but you still want to retain the extended self which was there previously. Right? So it might seem a little complicated, but as we proceed, I'm sure you would understand that extended self is a concept which exists, which is very well within all of us, and that is definitely important. Okay, now say suppose I give you a quick example. Say suppose someone takes your the memento which you had put up on the refrigerator, very fond of it, and whosoever comes into your house, he first looks at all of them, or maybe the photographs which you have taken, right? Photographs that you have taken, I mean, you have put them into boxes um, and then hung them on the wall, right? Then someone comes in, and then maybe a kid who comes in and keeps dribbling the basketball, and then somehow the ball just hits on a couple of them, and then things break. What's your instant reaction? What's the instant reaction which you have? I feel that the instant reaction which you will have is that you'll be angry. You may or may not show it, but that's the very basic reaction which is going to show up on your face. And that is because you are possessive of your extended self. You are possessive of those memories. Now, Belk, in his papers, in his research papers on extended self, has written about a lot of it. Now, the concept of extended self is changing. Not because we are changing, because technology is changing. We are now looking at an era where the possessions, prized possessions, are increasingly dematerialized. So you would rather store all of your memories in a hard disk. It is like we are taking our memory and then taking a dump of it into a hard disk, right? We do not care. Previously, I mean, when you go on a trip, maybe you had a camera which had the traditional reels and everything. So it will take 35, 36, 40, 50 pictures, right? And then that's it. Now, when you go on an outing, you can have your DSLRs, which can go on and on. You can have point and shoot cameras, which will go on forever. And even if they die, then you have the cell phone. Each of these cell phones now comes with about 16 megapixel cameras. The one which I have is 8 megapixel, and that's even more than what I have on my camera, which is 5 megapixels, right? So what I'm trying to say is that it's not just the memory inside or the physical memory, but now we are trying to put everything into the digital world. What are you doing with Facebook timeline? Why do we need to post pictures in there? Why do people care if I spoke to my spouse every day, if I while going to office, I hug her or things like that? Why do I need to say that? People do say that. Why do people say that? Because that's their extended self. That's what they want to do. Now, if you buy a watch, right? I posted that this is an interesting experiment which I did in Facebook. I wrote a post saying that, imagine you are going to a party and you're standing there with a group of friends. A guy comes in and he keeps showing you the Prada watch, right? And he says that, hey, I got this new Prada. Every time someone comes in, he says, hey, I got this new Prada. Now, how would you feel? You'd feel irritated, isn't it? Now think about a photograph the same guy posts in Facebook. Hey, I got a new Prada. What do? You go and hit like. And what happens after that? You get subscribed to the post. Anytime anyone likes or comments on that particular, hey, got this new Prada watch. So likes that, you get to know that. Until, of course, you unfollow it. Right? Now, what I'm trying to say is we tend to do things online which we do not do offline. I'm sure most of you would have at least heard about the Second Life. That's a role-playing game where you can go in, you can create avatars, you can buy stuff, I mean, it's creepy, but yeah, I mean, people love it. I'm not that kind, so I don't, not that kind in the sense I do not have that much of time and patience to actually go in, create profiles and play it. So, but anyway, but what I'm trying to say is that people do go in, people do get started with all of these role-playing games. When they do that, they actually spend real money to buy virtual goods. Why do they do that? Because that's the extended self which they are living. Now, you might have also seen people, teenagers, mostly girls. So what they do sometimes, I mean, that's not a common phenomenon. But sometimes they go into a shopping mall and they start looking at the things which they want to buy and they try it on. Within the changing room, they take selfies. Now, when they take selfies, they post it on Facebook. Why do we do that? Because our extended self, we want reconfirmation, reassurance that our choices are right. And if we look at it a couple of years back when technology was not there, you had to take shopping buddies. Shopping buddies would take a look at the dress you choose, the jeans or the trousers you pick, and they can tell you that, okay, this looks good. Okay, no, this doesn't. So now when you do that, we are now moving on to the new world where we are seeking reconfirmation from the online extended self, right? And depending on the number of likes and comments, you actually decide to purchase. Now that makes things very interesting. Understanding what is going to be done. Now the changing rooms were supposed to be very, very private. So that's the reason why you have a single room where you go in, you change, and you try on, and then you come out. That photograph goes to Facebook. Can you believe it? The things are not uncommon. So enough said. What I'm trying to say is extended self is for real. It's not just one self or two, multiple. And Belk's paper actually tried to say that there is no core self. I mean, we were thinking initially that there is one core self which is trying to say, hey, you shouldn't do this online. Hey, you shouldn't do that here. Hey, you shouldn't do this in this situation. Now, there is no such core self. It is actually the aggregation of all these multiple selves which drives us. This, I'm trying to do research study on core self and the extended self from an Indian context. I have a set of questions, like 50 questions. They are big. There are 50 questions, which needs mostly one-liner answers. And if you would be interested to be a part of the study and receive a summary of the paper, I cannot share the full abstract of the full paper. But then if you would like to get an abstract of the paper or a summary of the paper, and you would like to take part in the research on extended self and probably know more about you, which you currently do, then I would request you to send me a note, and you can just hit a comment on this particular video, and I will send you the questionnaire, and then we can take it from there. Thank you so much. You have a wonderful day. Thank you for listening and watching this video. Thank you.